Have you ever felt like you're on the brink of a total breakdown, only to find yourself emerging stronger, clearer, and more resilient on the other side? It's a common experience, this feeling of shattering and then rebuilding. But what if I told you this isn't just a personal feeling? What if it's a fundamental principle of how all systems work, from our own minds to entire civilizations? This phenomenon is often called system collapse. It sounds dramatic, even frightening, but it's a natural process of change. Today, we're going to explore why things fall apart, and more importantly, why that collapse can often feel like a breakthrough. We'll look at the hidden forces at play, the slow buildup of pressure, and the surprising rebirth that follows. This isn't about doom and gloom, it's about understanding the deep, cyclical nature of growth and renewal. Let's start with a core idea. Stability has its limits. Think of any system you know, your daily routine, a friendship, a company, or even an ecosystem. For a while, they all seem stable, predictable, and robust. They have rules, structures, and feedback loops that help them maintain balance and resist change. This is called homeostasis. When a small problem arises, the system adjusts and returns to its normal state. It's like a thermostat in your house. When the temperature drops, the heat kicks in to bring it back up. This resilience gives us a sense of security, a belief that things will continue as they are. But here's the catch. No system can withstand infinite pressure. Every structure, no matter how strong it seems, has a breaking point. We often mistake this period of stability for permanence, forgetting that the very mechanisms designed to keep things steady can become rigid and brittle over time. The system becomes so good at maintaining its current state that it loses the flexibility needed to adapt to new, unforeseen challenges. This brings us to the next crucial element: the role of gradual pressure. System collapse rarely happens because of a single catastrophic event. More often, it's the result of a slow, relentless accumulation of stress. It's like water slowly dripping on a stone. One drop does nothing, 100 drops do nothing, but over thousands of years, the stone is worn away. In our lives, this pressure can be a demanding job, a subtle tension in a relationship, or unhealthy habits we ignore. In society, it could be growing inequality, environmental degradation, or political polarization. Each individual stressor might seem manageable on its own. We adapt, we cope, we tell ourselves it's fine, but these pressures don't just disappear, they compound. They slowly strain the foundations of the system, creating tiny, invisible cracks. Because the process is so gradual, we often don't even notice the danger until it's too late. The system continues to function, appearing normal on the surface, while underneath, the tension is building to a critical level. It's this stealthy, incremental nature of pressure that makes the eventual collapse feel so sudden and shocking, even though the causes have been building for a long time. As this pressure continues to build, the system enters a state of structural fatigue. Imagine bending a paperclip back and forth. At first, it's flexible. But with each bend, the metal weakens at a microscopic level. It doesn't break immediately, but its internal structure becomes compromised. Eventually, with one final, seemingly gentle bend, it snaps. This is structural fatigue. The system, whether it's your own mental state or a large organization, has been stretched and stressed for so long that its core components begin to fail. The very parts that were meant to provide strength and stability become sources of weakness. In a personal context, this might manifest as burnout, anxiety, or chronic exhaustion. The coping mechanisms that once worked are no longer effective. In a social system, you might see institutions becoming dysfunctional, trust eroding, and the rules that once held everything together being openly ignored. This is the stage where the system becomes fragile and unpredictable. A small random event, the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back, can now trigger a disproportionately large reaction, leading to a rapid and cascading failure. The system has lost its resilience, its ability to bounce back. It's reached a point of no return. So, the system finally breaks. It's chaotic, disorienting, and often painful. But here is the most fascinating part of the entire process. Why does this collapse so often feel like a breakthrough? When the old structure shatters, all the energy that was being used to maintain it is suddenly released. Think of a dam breaking. The immense pressure built up behind it is unleashed in a powerful flood. Similarly, when a rigid personal belief system or a stifling life situation collapses, there's a massive release of psychological and emotional energy. This release can feel incredibly liberating. It's the feeling of a weight being lifted from your shoulders. All the rules, expectations, and constraints that defined the old system are gone. This creates a space of pure potential, a blank slate. Suddenly, new perspectives and possibilities that were once unthinkable become visible. You're no longer trying to patch up a broken system. You're free to build something entirely new. This is why a breakdown can lead to a creative explosion, a spiritual awakening, or a profound shift in life direction. The collapse clears the way for a more authentic, flexible, and resilient structure to emerge from the ruins. It feels like a breakthrough because, in a very real sense, it is. It's the painful but necessary death of an old world to make way for a new one. To sum it all up, the journey from stability to collapse and then to breakthrough is a fundamental pattern of life. We start with systems that seem stable, but their stability is always finite. Gradual, unrelenting pressure slowly wears them down, causing hidden structural fatigue. Eventually, the system reaches its breaking point and falls apart in what feels like a sudden crisis. But this very collapse is what creates the opportunity for profound renewal. It releases trapped energy and opens up a space for new, more adaptive structures to be born. Understanding this cycle can change how we view challenges in our own lives and in the world around us. Instead of fearing collapse, we can learn to see it as an inevitable and even necessary part of growth. It's a signal that the old way of being is no longer sustainable and that it's time for something new to emerge. The key is to navigate this process with awareness, to not cling to the failing structures, but to instead focus on what we can build in the space that opens up. What old systems in your life might be nearing their breaking point, and what breakthrough might be waiting for you on the other side? Thanks so much for watching and thinking through these ideas with me.